All right, let's dive into one of Punjab's most epic and tragic love stories. This isn't just a fairy tale, it's a saga of passion and defiance that's literally part of the land itself. We're talking, of course, about Mirza and Sahiba. So, we're going to do something a little different here and actually start at the end. The legend closes with these powerful words: Love never dies, love became immortal. Now, think about that. How on earth does a love story that ends in absolute tragedy become immortal? That's the big question we're going to explore. This is way more than just a romance. It's a foundational epic for the entire culture. And at the very heart of it, you have two people whose names are so connected, you just never say one without the other: Mirza and Sahiba. So let's meet our two protagonists. You've got Mirza, this incredible archer, brave, a man of his word, a true lover. And then there's Sahiba. Yeah, she was known for her beauty, but she was also fiercely intelligent and completely steadfast in her love. Now, you need to keep these traits in mind because, and this is the heartbreaking part, their greatest strengths are the very things that will eventually lead to their doom. Their story doesn't start with some dramatic love at first sight moment. Nope. It started way back when they were just kids. Their bond was real and deep long before the outside world ever had a chance to interfere. Just try to picture them, right? Running around, playing together. There's this one great little story where Sahiba playfully complains that Mirza always beats her at archery, and he just replies, "I want to see you laugh. How can I lose?" That kind of sweet, playful devotion, that's what their whole relationship was built on from the very beginning. Okay, so as they get older, that childhood friendship blossoms into this deep, powerful love. And with it comes a promise from Mirza. But listen to this. This wasn't some secret whispered in the dark. He straight up declares, "I will come for you, in broad daylight, in front of everyone." Talk about bold. And that one promise? Well, it's the trigger for everything that's about to unfold. All right, so here's where things get complicated. Because for all the love they had for each other, Mirza and Sahiba were about to run headfirst into a wall called tradition. See, in their world, you didn't just get to marry who you loved. That was secondary. What really mattered was your family, your honor, and your community. So their love, as pure and real as it was, wasn't seen as something beautiful. It was seen as a threat to the entire social order. And to really get why, you have to understand this one crucial concept: the biradari. Think of it as the clan or the extended community. Marriages weren't just about two people falling in love, they were strategic alliances between families, and those families had to be from the same biradari. Here's the problem: Mirza wasn't from Sahiba's community. And in the eyes of their families, that was it. Game over. It was a line that could not be crossed. And this quote just says it all. It wasn't a negotiation. It was a final verdict, delivered by Sahiba's own brother, Taha Khan. He becomes the face of this opposition, the enforcer of the rules, the one who stands ready to crush their love. And this is it, the turning point. The day of Sahiba's arranged marriage arrives, and it forces their hand. They have to escape, which leads Sahiba to make a decision that will seal both of their fates. True to his word, Mirza shows up in broad daylight. He rides in on his legendary horse Baki, and Sahiba, she doesn't hesitate for a second. She chooses him. They flee together. For one moment, it's this huge, triumphant act of defiance. But what they don't realize is they aren't riding towards freedom. They're riding straight towards their destiny. So as they're escaping, Sahiba is just torn. She knows her brothers are chasing them, and they are armed and furious. She loves Mirza with all her heart, but she can't stand the thought of him killing her brothers, and she can't stand the thought of her brothers killing him. So just put yourself in her shoes. What do you do? How do you stop the bloodshed? Well, this is her answer. Mirza is completely exhausted from their escape, and he falls asleep under a tree. And that's when Sahiba sees his quiver full of arrows. She knows that as long as he has those arrows, he's unbeatable. But he will also become a killer. And so, caught in this absolutely impossible dilemma, she makes a choice. She takes his arrows, and one by one, she snaps every single one of them. In that single act, a decision meant to save everyone, Sahiba tragically dooms the one person she cannot live without. The climax of their story is swift, it is brutal, and it feels completely inevitable. Just as she feared, at sunrise, her brother, Taha Khan, and his men find them. They are not there to talk. They are there for blood. Mirza wakes up, ready to defend their love. He reaches for his quiver. It's an automatic reflex. He feels for the arrows that have never, ever failed him. And he finds nothing but broken pieces of wood. In that one horrifying instant, he looks at Sahiba and he understands everything. Sahiba, you have tied my hands. I mean, just think about that for a second. His entire identity, his power as the greatest archer around, it's just gone. He is left completely helpless by the very woman he came to save. And in that moment, so is their dream. The future they defied the entire world for, it just vanishes. Sahiba's choice to prevent bloodshed has guaranteed it. So how does this tragic end become a story of immortal love? Well, the final moments of their lives are what transform them from just two lovers into an enduring legend. Unarmed and overwhelmed, Mirza is cut down by Taha Khan's men, and seeing him fall, Sahiba, as the legend goes, chooses to die by his side. So yes, two bodies fall in the dust that day, but in that final act of unity, their story is cemented forever. Their love couldn't survive in this world, so it transcended it. And that brings us right back to the central mystery of their story, the question that's been debated for centuries. What do you think? Was what Sahiba did an act of ultimate love, a desperate attempt to save everyone she cared about? Or was it the ultimate betrayal, a fatal mistake that cost them everything? The legend offers no easy answer. And maybe that's exactly why it's immortal.